Yo, what's up everybody, it's Charlie. Winter is here and you know what that means? Time to ditch the boring and embrace the extraordinary. We're talking snow-capped mountains, cozy fireplaces, and adventures that'll make you forget all about the cold. Join me as I tackle my ultimate winter bucket list and see if I can check off all these incredible escapes before the season ends. There's something truly magical about winter, don't you think? The twinkling lights, the cozy atmosphere, and of course the excitement of exploring unique destinations during the colder months. This year, I'm determined to make the most of it, and I'm taking you guys along for the ride. Get ready for epic landscapes, heart-pumping activities, and enough winter wonder to last a lifetime. Let's do this. Alright, first up on the list is a place that feels straight out of a fairy tale, Leavenworth, Washington. Imagine this. You're walking down a snow-dusted street surrounded by buildings with gingerbread house vibes. The air smells like roasted chestnuts and pine needles, and Christmas carols drift from every storefront. That's Leavenworth in a nutshell, and trust me, the pictures don't do it justice. This Bavarian-styled village nestled in the Cascade Mountains is basically Winter Wonderland HQ. We're talking snow-capped peaks, towering pine trees, and a charm that'll melt even the iciest heart. Now I'm a sucker for a good Christmas market, and Leavenworth's is legendary. Picture this. Wooden huts, strung with twinkling lights, the aroma of gingerbread and hot cocoa filling the air, and locals bundled up in their finest winter gear. It's the kind of place that makes you want to sip on glühwein and belt out Christmas carols, even if you're tone-deaf like me. But Leavenworth isn't just about the festive vibes. This place is an outdoor enthusiast's dream come true. We're talking miles of hiking trails, snowshoeing adventures through silent forests, and enough skiing and snowboarding to satisfy even the biggest adrenaline junkie. One morning, I woke up early, bundled up in layers, and hit the slopes. The sun was just peeking over the mountains, casting a golden glow on the fresh powder. As I carved my way down the mountain, the wind whipping past me, I felt this incredible sense of freedom and exhilaration. And let's not forget about the food. After a long day of exploring, I stumbled upon this cozy little restaurant tucked away in a side street. The smell of warm spices and sizzling meat drew me in, and let me tell you, that meal was the definition of comfort food. Think hearty stews, freshly baked pretzels, and enough schnitzel to feed a small army. Leavenworth was the perfect way to kick off my winter bucket list adventure, a true winter wonderland that exceeded all my expectations. Next stop on our winter adventure, Quebec City, Canada. Now I've been lucky enough to travel to some pretty incredible places, but Quebec City holds a special place in my heart. It's like stepping into a European fairy tale, but with a Canadian twist. Imagine this, cobblestone streets covered in a fresh blanket of snow, centuries-old buildings adorned with twinkling lights, and the sound of horse-drawn carriages echoing through the frosty air. That's Quebec City in the winter, and let me tell you, it's pure magic. One of the things that blew me away about Quebec City was its history. You can literally feel it seeping from the walls of the buildings, the cobblestones beneath your feet, and the stories whispered on the wind. As I wandered through the narrow streets of Old Quebec, I felt like I was transported back in time. And speaking of Old Quebec, this place is a UNESCO World Heritage Site for a reason. Picture this: fortified walls encircling the city, charming cafes tucked away in hidden alleyways, and the iconic Chateau Frontenac towering over it all. It's the kind of place that makes you want to grab your camera and capture every single detail. But Quebec City isn't just about history and architecture, it's also a city that knows how to embrace winter. We're talking ice skating rinks in the shadow of historic landmarks, snowshoeing trails through snowy forests, and of course the world-famous Quebec Winter Carnival. Now, I'm not usually one for big festivals, but the Quebec Winter Carnival was something else. Imagine this. Giant ice sculptures lining the streets, parades with elaborate floats and costume performers, and the energy of thousands of people celebrating the magic of winter. It was an experience I'll never forget. Of course, no trip to Quebec City would be complete without indulging in the local cuisine. One evening I stumbled upon this cozy little bistro tucked away in a quiet corner of Old Quebec. The aroma of garlic, butter, and herbs wafted from the kitchen, and I knew I had to try it. From the rich flavors of poutine to the melt-in-your-mouth goodness of tourtière, Quebec City's culinary scene is a delicious blend of French and Canadian influences. Quebec City stole a piece of my heart. It's a city that truly comes alive in the winter, offering a perfect blend of history, culture, and winter charm. From Canada, we're jetting off to a place that looks like it belongs on a postcard, Hallstatt, Austria. Nestled between a glistening lake and towering mountains, Hallstatt is the kind of place that makes you question if you've stumbled into a fairy tale. Imagine this: charming houses with wooden balconies perched on the edge of a crystal-clear lake, snow-dusted mountains reflected in the still water, and a silence so profound you can almost hear the snowflakes falling. That's Hallstatt in the winter, a picture-perfect escape from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Now, I've seen my fair share of stunning scenery, but Hallstatt took my breath away. The mountains rise up dramatically from the lake, their peaks shrouded in clouds, while the village below seems to cling to the shoreline like something out of a dream. One of the coolest things about Hallstatt is its size. This tiny village is home to less than 1,000 people, which only adds to its charm. You can easily explore the entire place on foot, wandering through narrow alleyways, admiring the colorful houses, and soaking up the peaceful atmosphere. Of course, no trip to Hallstatt would be complete without a visit to the Hallstatt salt mine. This 7,000-year-old salt mine is one of the oldest in the world, and trust me, it's an experience you won't soon forget. We're talking underground lakes, ancient mining tools, and even a slide that takes you from one level of the mine to another. But Hallstatt isn't just about history and scenery, it's also a great place to embrace the winter spirit. Imagine this: ice skating on the frozen lake, sipping hot chocolate in a cozy cafe overlooking the water, and simply breathing in the fresh mountain air. One evening, I found myself wandering through the village as the sun began to set. The sky erupted in a kaleidoscope of colors, casting a warm glow on the snow-covered rooftops and the surrounding mountains. It was one of those moments that reminds you of the simple beauty of life. Hallstatt might be small, but it's big on charm, beauty, and that undeniable Austrian hospitality. If you're looking for a winter escape that's equal parts stunning and serene, Hallstatt should be at the top of your list. Next on our tour, Reykjavik, Iceland, chasing the northern lights. Next up, we're heading north, way north, to a land of fire and ice. Reykjavik, Iceland. Now, I've always been fascinated by Iceland, with its dramatic landscapes, otherworldly beauty, and the promise of witnessing the northern lights. And let me tell you, Reykjavik did not disappoint. Imagine this: stepping off the plane and being greeted by a blast of crisp, clean air, the kind that makes you feel instantly alive. The city itself has this cool, edgy vibe with colorful buildings, quirky street art, and a thriving arts and culture scene. But let's be real, the main reason to visit Iceland in the winter is for the northern lights. And let me tell you, seeing those dancing green lights streak across the night sky is an experience that's impossible to put into words. One night, we bundled up in our warmest gear and headed out into the Icelandic wilderness, far from the city lights. The anticipation was killing me. And then, there they were. It started as a faint glow on the horizon, and then suddenly, the sky exploded in a symphony of green, purple, and white. I stood there mesmerized as these celestial ribbons of light danced across the sky, feeling like I was witnessing something truly magical. But Iceland is so much more than just the northern lights. One of the coolest things I did in Reykjavik was go for a dip in the Blue Lagoon. Imagine this: it's freezing cold outside, snow is falling, and you're relaxing in a geothermal pool of milky blue water surrounded by lava rocks. The contrast between the cold air and the warm water is incredible, and the silica mud, which you can slather all over your face, is supposed to do wonders for your skin. And then there's the food. Now, I'll be honest, I was a bit apprehensive about Icelandic cuisine at first, but I was pleasantly surprised by the fresh seafood, hearty lamb dishes, and yes, even the fermented shark, which, I'll admit, is an acquired taste. Reykjavik is a city that gets under your skin. It's a place where you can chase the northern lights, soak in geothermal pools, and explore glaciers and volcanoes all in a day's work. Next on our list is Aspen, Colorado, mountain luxury. From the land of fire and ice, we're heading back to the US of A, to a place that's synonymous with luxury and winter sports, Aspen, Colorado. Now, Aspen has a reputation for being a playground for the rich and famous, and while that's partly true, there's so much more to this charming mountain town than meets the eye. Imagine this: picture-perfect Victorian-era buildings lining cobblestone streets, snow-capped mountains towering over the town, and the aroma of pine needles and hot chocolate filling the air. That's Aspen in a nutshell, a place where you can hit the slopes in style, indulge in world-class dining, and rub shoulders with celebrities, if you're into that sort of thing. Now, Aspen is a skier's paradise with 4 mountains to choose from, each offering something unique. Whether you're a seasoned pro carving up black diamond runs or a beginner like me, trying not to faceplant on the bunny slopes, Aspen has something for everyone. One day, I decided to challenge myself and tackle one of the more advanced runs. Let's just say it was a humbling experience filled with near wipeouts and moments of pure terror. But you know what? I got back up, dusted myself off, and even managed to make it down in one piece. But Aspen isn't just about skiing. The town itself is a destination in its own right, with high-end boutiques, art galleries, and a lively après-ski scene. After a long day on the slopes, there's nothing better than grabbing a drink at one of Aspen's many bars and restaurants, sharing stories from the day, and soaking up the electric atmosphere. One night I stumbled upon this hidden speakeasy tucked away behind an unmarked door. The atmosphere was incredible, with dim lighting, live jazz music, and cocktails that were as delicious as they were strong. It was the perfect way to unwind after a day on the slopes. Aspen might be known for its glitz and glamour, but beneath the surface lies a town with a genuine love for the mountains, a passion for adventure, and a warmth that's impossible to resist. Up next, Lapland, Finland, the magic of the Arctic Circle. Last but not least, we're venturing above the Arctic Circle to a place that's straight out of a winter fairy tale, Lapland, Finland. Now Lapland is a region, not just a city, and it's vast, covering a huge chunk of northern Finland. Imagine this, a land of snow-covered forests, frozen lakes, and the kind of silence that makes you feel like you're the only person on Earth. That's Lapland in a nutshell, a place where you can experience the magic of the Arctic Circle, meet Santa Claus himself, and maybe even catch a glimpse of the elusive northern lights. One of the coolest things about Lapland is the opportunity to experience the Sami culture. The Sami are the indigenous people of Lapland, and they've been living in harmony with nature for centuries. I had the chance to visit a traditional Sami village, learn about their reindeer herding traditions, and even try some of their delicious food. And speaking of reindeer, no trip to Lapland would be complete without a reindeer sleigh ride. Imagine this, you're bundled up in warm blankets gliding through a snow-covered forest, the only sound the gentle jingling of bells and the soft crunch of reindeer hooves on the snow. It's the kind of experience that makes you feel like a kid again. But Lapland isn't just about reindeer and Santa Claus. It's also a great place to embrace your inner child and try out some winter activities. We're talking dog sledding through snowy forests, snowmobiling across frozen lakes, and even ice fishing. One day, I decided to give ice fishing a try. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not the most patient person in the world, but there was something incredibly peaceful about sitting on a frozen lake, surrounded by nothing but snow and ice, waiting for a bite. Lapland is a place that stays with you long after you've left. It's a place where the magic of winter is alive and well, where you can experience the beauty of the Arctic Circle, and where you can create memories that will last a lifetime. Outro until next adventure. So there you have it, guys, my ultimate winter bucket list. I hope you've enjoyed exploring these incredible destinations with me, and I hope it's inspired you to start planning your own winter escape. Remember, life's too short to stay cooped up inside when there's a whole world of adventure out there waiting to be discovered. So pack your bags, embrace the cold, and go create some unforgettable memories. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share your own winter bucket list ideas in the comments below. And if you're new here, consider subscribing for more travel content and adventure inspiration.